Hello everyone, welcome to Shifting Gears and welcome inside the Maruti Suzuki Victoris Strong Hybrid. So in this video we are going to speak about how good does this vehicle feel to drive, this strong hybrid Maruti Suzuki Victoris SUV. We have multiple other long format review videos of this product so that you can make an informed car buying decision. We have one video where we speak about the exterior design. We have another video where we speak about the interior cabin in complete detail. Then we have an off-road capability specific video of this Victoris. Then we have another detailed drive review video of the Victoris with the all grip automatic gearbox option. And then we have this particular video where we tell you how good does this strong hybrid Victoris perform out on the Indian streets. So now is a good time to subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel and press that bell icon so that you get a notification every time we upload a content piece for you. Now very quickly, let me tell you a few features which I think are missing in this Victoris Strong Hybrid. Now you do not get an electric park brake with this car. You have a manual handbrake, but that's alright. You also do not get level 2 or level 1 ADAS, no driver assistance features with this Victoris Strong Hybrid, so that is also a miss. And I think all of this has been done for, proper pricing, competitive pricing of this Victoris. But then all grip all wheel drive also is not going to be offered with the strong hybrid variants. So you will only get smart hybrid tech with the all grip all wheel drive variants. The Victoris Strong Hybrid is going to be a two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive SUV only. And then if you want the naturally aspirated 1.5 liter standard motor or the petrol plus CNG motor option, those variants also are going to be front-wheel drive, two-wheel drive only. So quite a lot of variants. I guess there are a total of 21 variants to choose from of this Victoris and a total of, I guess, 10 paint schemes and some dual tone paint color options within those 10, I guess. So there is a lot of options for you to choose if at all you are willing to bring home the Maruti Suzuki Victoris. But before you pay that kind of money, do check out our detailed reviews so that you know what you are bringing home. Now we are out on the highway driving around Jaipur, and let me tell you, this Maruti Suzuki Victoris, especially this strong hybrid version, is a much more quieter vehicle to drive. It is feeling much more relaxed inside the cabin. I don't know why, but compared to the all grip variant which I was driving earlier in the day, this is seeming like a more refined cabin experience. I'm driving on the same highway, I'm driving at similar speeds, but there is some kind of an NVH uppercut, upper hand that the strong hybrid variants have. It might be just my ears, but if you also test drive both the vehicles and if you feel any changes, you do let us know in the comments below. So in the NVH department, I think the strong hybrid is a bit better, and even the overall cabin insulation is feeling a bit better. I am at almost 80 kilometers per hour right now, and the rolling noise and the wind noise again just feels better for some reason. Now it won't be too much of a difference. At close to 100 kilometers per hour, there will be some wind white noise that you will hear. You can hear that on the other variants too, but at slower speeds especially, it just feels more quieter for some reason. It might be just me, but I'm telling you what I'm feeling, and it's just been a few hours that I swapped that car with this one, the all grip automatic to this strong hybrid ECVT. So that is that. Overall, from the driver's point of view, if you switch between multiple variants of the Victoris and if you're going for a test drive, from behind the wheel you're not going to feel too much of a difference. Say for example, you drove the all-grip 6-speed automatic, then you drive this strong hybrid ECVT. It just feels as natural as it should be. There is not too much of a delta in terms of you having to learn the product or you having to adapt to an all-wheel drive or this strong hybrid. Everything is simple in mechanicals. Just select the gear, get going, and a normal 2-pedal drive vehicle that this is. It's very convenient. Now let's start talking in step-by-step fashion. We have covered the NVH part. It just feels better in this product for some reason. Now I'm going to pull over to the shoulder and let's check out how easy is the steering wheel of this Victoris Strong Hybrid. On the all grip variant, I did feel some heft, especially at standstill. So yeah, is the same on this vehicle too. So it is not completely feather light like typical Maruti Suzuki cars. It has some heft to it. You are getting 17-inch wheels with the Victoris, not 18 inches, and I'm glad not 18 inches because it would have robbed you of your comfort on the move. But the steering wheel, it is still light enough for you to drive around the city or for you to park your vehicle. It is just that if you are used to any other Maruti Suzuki product, a cheaper Maruti Suzuki product, or just anything else that you have purchased in the recent past, this will feel like it has some heft, and that is not necessarily a bad thing. Right now, when I'm out on the highway and when I'm making lane changes, the steering wheel, it feels nice and responsive. It doesn't feel too dead or too vague. It gives me a good sense of where the wheels are pointed and I can have the vehicle in my control at all times. It is just that it doesn't feel like you are driving on rails, but then this is an SUV. It is a monocoque SUV, but it is a tall vehicle, so you will feel some amount of pitch and roll. Nevertheless, the steering wheel for the average Indian consumer, for the daily commuter, this is really good enough. And if at all you encounter an emergency and say for example you want to swerve and just avoid an obstacle, the steering wheel is not bad at all and it gives you good confidence to make that lane change or direction change. So no complaints in that department. When you're driving out on the highway, if you are making any changes to the wheel, it is not dead in the center, so the slightest of input and the vehicle will move. I have owned multiple Maruti Suzuki cars in the past. The recent one was a CS diesel for over 1.5 lakh kilometers, and that vehicle, that steering wheel, it didn't feel as good as this. So in the recent past, the steering wheels have improved from Maruti Suzuki in terms of responsiveness and feeling better to drive, and that is my personal experience. So a good positive sign in terms of driving dynamics, at least how the wheel feels to your inputs. Otherwise, it is just an easy car to drive and it doesn't require too much effort. Now, the next point to speak about is the performance. And before we get into those performance numbers, let us very quickly speak about the specifications of this Maruti Suzuki Victoris. Now, powering this strong hybrid petrol eCVT version of this Maruti Suzuki Victoris is the M15D motor. This also is a 1.5-liter engine and it produces 92.45 PS of power at 5,500 RPM and 122 Newton meters of torque between 3,800 to 4,800 RPM. The hybrid system of this vehicle is coupled with a lithium-ion battery pack. It has a AC synchronous motor, and then you have 80 PS of power and additional 141 Newton meters of torque. But then you just can't mathematically add both numbers for the petrol engine and the hybrid system. That is not going to be the total power output. That is going to be different. This vehicle also offers you eco, normal and power driving modes. It has a eCVT transmission and you get a two-wheel drive setup. This is not an all-wheel drive vehicle. Speaking about mileage, Maruti Suzuki claims that this strong hybrid Victoris is going to deliver 28.65 kmpl of mileage, which is the highest compared to any other variant. Also, you are going to get 3 years or 100,000 kilometers of warranty as standard, and it can be extended up to 6 years. Now, this is a strong hybrid vehicle, this Maruti Suzuki Victoris. I am at a standstill. Check this out. I have now activated EV mode. The vehicle is moving in EV mode. The petrol engine has not kicked in yet. I have just released the brake pedal. There is no auto hold functionality over here because there is no electric park brake. There is a manual handbrake. So as soon as I got off the brake pedal, the vehicle is free rolling. It is crawling at close to 10 kilometers per hour. It is in EV only mode. It is not using the petrol engine. If I get on the gas, gentle throttle input, it is continuing in EV mode. Let us see how long does this drive in EV mode. I have now achieved almost 20 kilometers per hour, not making any changes to the system in terms of drive mode or anything. I am in power mode, the drive mode by the way, but still EV mode also works even in power mode, power drive mode. Speed is 25 kilometers per hour, still in EV mode. And let's just see how many minutes or seconds it can do that. Close to 30 kilometers per hour right now. There is a slight gradient, so it is an uphill patch. Still in EV mode. Very nicely, quietly coasting. Not really coasting, just continuing to stay at a steady pace. And still in EV mode. That's quite nice. This is where a hybrid setup really shines. So in bumper to bumper traffic, in such crawling situations, the petrol engine is not going to kick in and you are going to save some amount of that precious fuel, which is now blended with ethanol, and the ministry is robbing you. Everybody knows that because we are not being charged the price of blended fuel. We are paying full crude oil prices for the petrol that we are filling in our vehicles. Nevertheless, still in EV mode, and now the EV mode got cancelled, and now the petrol motor has kicked in, and now I can audibly hear that the petrol engine has kicked in. So now that I am picking up pace, I'm still in power mode of the drive mode options that I have, and now I don't see that EV indicator over there on that speedometer cluster, which means that the battery might not be charged enough. Right now, if I try to slow down, if I try to get the vehicle at crawling speeds, yeah, that EV icon has started to flash, and if I press EV mode again, it has again activated. The vehicle is now again moving in EV mode, and I am not consuming petrol. So isn't that convenient? You saw it was a very short sprint with the petrol engine option, and then EV mode function was again available to me. So inside the city, this is going to be very, very useful. Hybrid vehicles are more useful inside the city, not so much out on the highway, because you're not going to stop and go too much. And at higher speeds, I mean, the EV mode is not going to get engaged too often. But inside the city, whenever you come to a standstill, the EV mode will get engaged. Every time you are crawling, you can crawl in EV mode. You can manually intervene and activate EV mode if you feel like. So that is quite nice, and it just feels very quiet. This is like a proper Zen mode over here in this Maruti Suzuki Victoris. still in EV mode, and it's really impressive. And at this price point, I think the Maruti Suzuki Victoris has a, you know, good chance of shining in the segment with this hybrid powertrain, because there are not too many hybrids available. There are not too many hybrid SUVs available. EV mode is now cancelled, and now I am getting on the gas. What I will do now is I will pull over to the shoulder, and what we will do is sprint from 0 to 100 in power mode. So drive mode selected is power, and EV mode is unavailable, so nothing to worry about that. And now in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. Instant torque available because this is a hybrid, and it just feels noticeably faster to 100 kilometers per hour compared to the standard naturally aspirated 1.5 liter non-turbocharged non-hybrid variants of this Victoris. And from 0 to 100, or maybe up to 120, 130, it genuinely feels like there is good performance on tap. Beyond 120, 130, maybe it feels a bit slow in terms of the progress, in terms of the momentum building ability. But from a standstill, especially 0 to 60, 0 to 50, 0 to 100, that is what you will do most of the times. This feels fast enough. This Maruti Suzuki Victoris feels peppy enough for you to have some fun. Now, there is not a lot that you can do with this engine and gearbox combination with this eCVT. There are no paddle shifters. You just have D or B modes from this gear stick, and then you also have drive modes, which are eco, normal and sport. Drive modes you can switch on the fly, so between eco, normal and power, you will get a telltale indicator on the speedometer cluster which mode you have selected, and you can drive it in the way you feel like, in the mode that you feel like. We have been driving so far in D mode. Now what I'm going to do is activate B mode. So in B mode, what's going to happen is, if I get off the throttle, the vehicle is going to try to regen more. It is going to slow down sooner, and it is going to try to charge the batteries more often and faster. But in B mode, don't assume that this is a single pedal drive mode like you see in EVs. So this is not like the maximum regen like in EVs, but it is the maximum regen here in this strong hybrid setup. Because check this out, it will not come to a complete standstill. It is crawling at close to 9 to 10 kilometers per hour. If I get on the gas, good power delivery, a good boost kind of a feel, and good acceleration. I have already crossed 80, 90, and now I have crossed 100. And as soon as I let go the throttle pedal, the vehicle is slowing down more sooner than it would in D mode. Say for example, I suddenly switch to D mode, I can noticeably feel that the vehicle is now starting to free roll a little bit easier than it was in B mode. And if in the between I switch to B mode, I can feel like the vehicle is now trying to slow down a lot sooner. So if you have been used to driving a normal internal combustion engine vehicle, the standard cars that we have here in the Indian market, say for example, just for comparison, you can say that B mode is going to give you more of an engine braking kind of a feel, a more aggressive engine braking kind of a feel. But it is going to slow down quite often and quite sooner. Not so much if the batteries are charged to the maximum, but what will happen is then your momentum will keep, slowing down and then increasing, slowing down and then increasing. So in B mode, it might not really be the ideal mode for long distance touring, but maybe inside the city, if you are driving in a city where there is a lot of traffic anyway, so I mean, why not drive in B mode, let the vehicle slow down by itself. You can just gauge and then lift and coast accordingly, and then when you're driving in B mode, the batteries are going to get charged a bit sooner, and then you will have the batteries ready for you to drive around in EV mode. Even in B mode, let us try to find out if you can drive in EV mode. Yes, you can. So I am in B mode. EV mode is now active. I'm driving in eco mode. It is nicely crawling, feathering the throttle pedal. It is picking up pace, nice and quiet. And then if I suddenly get on the gas, there is a proper 1 second of a transition when you were in EV mode and then the petrol engine to kick in and then for you to get that burst of power. Let me demonstrate that to you one more time. What I will do is I will give you some hand gestures for you to understand when I kick the throttle pedal and when the engine, the petrol engine, comes to life. All right. So I've come to a standstill. I have activated EV mode. Okay, it's not available right now. Maybe we should drive a little bit so that the battery is charged. So let's try that out. Let us just cover a few hundred meters. And once that EV indicator is shown to us, we will stop and try this one more time. Okay, I'm going to come to a standstill. Yet to see that EV indicator, by the way, so maybe I have to drive a bit further, continuing to do so. I'm not going to trim this because you should be able to gauge how long it takes for that functionality to be available or not be available. So it gives you a real world understanding. And yeah, I think it should be enough. It isn't showing me that EV mode option yet. Going to D mode just to check. Yeah, EV mode is now available. Seems like. Let's come to a standstill. Now switching to EV mode, and now I'm crawling. All right, so now I'm in EV mode. It takes a second, you can hear it. So once you get on the gas, it takes a second for the engine to come to life and then you get that burst of power. So you will feel it. There is absolutely no reason for you to miss this transition, and it's all right. I mean, it's not something that is going to disturb your occupants if at all the vehicle was in EV mode. It is not like when the engine comes to life, it gets a lot louder inside in the cabin. So you won't mind that. Check this out. I'm on a gradient on an incline patch. I'm still in B mode. If I let go of the throttle, it's not like my vehicle slows down so much that I cannot overtake also. So I had let go the throttle pedal, but I could still overtake that heavy vehicle. And now I'm on the gas again, and it's a good car to drive. It's an easy car to drive. It's an effortless car to drive. This Maruti Suzuki Victoris in this strong hybrid variant. So I guess that is pretty much it that you can do with the engine and gearbox combination that you have. I'm going to go back to standard D mode, and now when I'm in D mode, in eco mode, if I let go of the throttle, it keeps free rolling for a longer time. And even in this mode, by the way, even if you are in D mode and not in B, when you're coasting, of course the batteries are going to keep getting charged, and you will then have that EV mode functionality option available once the batteries have enough juice. And on the go, you cannot keep going back to EV mode if you are at a certain speed. So the EV indicator is now showing I'm at close to 50 kilometers per hour, but I cannot activate EV mode. But under 50, yes, I can. But if I cross 50 kilometers per hour, let me check this out. Yeah, as soon as it goes to 51 kilometers per hour, the EV mode got disengaged. So I hope that you've understood that EV mode is going to be available up to 50 kilometers per hour or anything below, but not over. So not a bad speed figure, isn't it? 50 kilometers per hour to drive around in EV mode. And if you are driving around in city, 50 kilometers per hour is a respectable speed for you to commute around. The next point that I want to speak about is the overall ease of use from the driver's cockpit. Everything is easy, everything is effortless, everything is spot on in terms of ergonomics. The gear stick feels right in place. It just feels very plasticky. It could have felt a bit more premium. The steering wheel, nice, leather wrapped, good size, and feels good to hold, and it feels premium too. There are no paddle shifters over here. This armrest, it slides forward and backwards, so you can get the optimum comfort. The handbrake is also easy to reach. The EV mode and drive mode buttons are also easy to reach. You also have the ventilated seat functionality given to you over here. And the driver cockpit, it looks quite nice. From Maruti Suzuki, this probably is the best looking display that they have made in terms of a speedometer cluster, and it shows you all the information that is necessary in terms of fuel efficiency, your trip information, your navigation display is also coupled over there too, and then you have your hybrid system information over there, your speedometer, your ADAS settings and everything. But ADAS not on the Strong Hybrid because that is not available. There is also a head-up display. Keep looking over here. I'm going to activate that now. So this is how it will open up. It shows you a lot of important information. It shows you navigation, it shows you your speed, it shows you a clock, and it also shows you the selected gear. And then when you are making any changes to the AC fan blower, even that information is shown to you over there. So it's quite interesting what it can do. And it also tells you if you have selected Apple CarPlay. So the navigation that is shown to you, you have a Apple CarPlay logo shown to you on that head-up display. It's quite informative, and I don't think it is very distracting. So you will get used to it, and it's good to have all information right over here in one glance rather than looking down here and then figuring out what information you want to see. You can select what information is shown to you over there on that head-up display. And if you think you don't like it, long press the HUD button and it will fold and close and it is out of your way. In terms of ride quality, the suspension setup is good. Typical of Maruti Suzuki cars, it is nice and absorbent. It is slightly firmer, I think. It is slightly stiffer, this strong hybrid Maruti Suzuki Victoris in terms of ride quality compared to the all-grip variant which we drove earlier today. Or maybe this is just overinflated, the tires, because over some really bad roads, I did feel that this was a bit more sharp into those thuds, or I felt it and heard it a bit more. It could just be tire pressure, or maybe they have retuned the suspension because of the weight of the batteries that this vehicle is carrying. But then on the all grip, you have the weight of the all-wheel drive hardware too, isn't it? Nevertheless, it does feel a bit more on the firmer side. In terms of performance, you've seen what it can do at crawling speeds. It can also pick up pace quite well if you're hungry on the gas. But overall, in terms of ride quality and driving dynamics, check this out. Faster over some undulated patches, It stays nice and flat even at triple digit speeds. No vertical movement, no waftiness, no nervousness, and it is a well built product. It feels nice. The chassis feels tight when you are driving hard and fast, and when you're making these lane changes too, it feels nice and well balanced. It doesn't feel nervous. So overall, the ride quality and drive feel of this Maruti Suzuki Victoris, this strong hybrid variant, it is also a neutral product. It is not something that you can go corner carving with, but if you have a nice winding road, you will enjoy your drive. And these seats, they are nicely bolstered, so they will keep you in place when you are attacking those corners, but keeping in mind what vehicle you have bought. This is no hot hatch, this is no sports sedan, this is no sports car, or this is no golf cart. So drive accordingly. Speaking about mileage, now Maruti Suzuki has a really tall claim. Now your fuel efficiency number with this strong hybrid is going to be closer to that claim when you're driving it primarily inside the city, because that is the time when your vehicle will be more in EV mode. Because when you're driving out on the highway, if your speed is well over 50 kilometers per hour, the EV mode is not going to get engaged. So the strong hybrid is not going to be very useful on long distance tours. But inside the city, your fuel efficiency is going to be really, really good. The mileage which we are getting right now is somewhere between 16 to 18 kmpl, depending on if I sprint hard or not. But inside the city, I'm sure it will improve. But on the highway, expect 16 to 18 kmpl even with the strong hybrid. If you have a heavy right foot, it can get better if you are someone who is very gentle with throttle inputs, and it is not a bad mileage figure at all. Even 16 to 18 kmpl is not bad at all for long distance touring, and it is a spacious vehicle for four, along with plenty of space for luggage too. Speaking about braking performance, you get all four disc brakes. Braking performance is good, confidence inspiring. The brake bite is nice and progressive, not overly sharp. You can stomp on the brakes and get the vehicle in your control or avoid any kind of emergency or obstacle on the streets. The tires, they have done a great job too. I was swerving, switching lanes really fast, sharp steering inputs, no screeching, squealing at all, even under hard acceleration. So good grip. We have good road surface too over here around Jaipur. So no complaints with the tires, no complaints with the brakes. It is just that the only complaint that I have is that this is maybe on the stiffer side of the scale within that Maruti Suzuki Victoris scale of comfort. So that is what I want to share with you in all honesty. What is your opinion about this product? Let us know in the comments below. Is there anything else that you want me to share with you about this Maruti Suzuki Victoris, and especially this strong hybrid variant? Ask me and I will try my best to tell you what I know. And if I cannot tell you, I will try to figure out that answer from Maruti Suzuki for you, so that your queries are resolved before you bring home this strong hybrid SUV. Do check out the other content pieces also which we have uploaded, so you know everything about this car in detail. Till next time, subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel, press that bell icon, and always guys, drive safe.